Welcome. Before we begin our journey together, I invite you now to settle into your bed. Feel the weight of your body sinking down into the mattress beneath you. Let your head rest fully on the pillow, heavy and supported. Pull the covers up around you, feeling their gentle weight, their warmth beginning to cocoon you in safety and comfort. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and release it gently through your mouth. And again, breathing in and breathing out. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Let your jaw unclench, your tongue rest softly in your mouth. There is nothing you need to do right now. Nowhere you need to be. Nothing to solve or fix or remember. For this next hour, you are simply here. Simply resting. Simply allowing yourself to be carried away on this gentle story, to a place of deep peace and tranquility. And so, we begin. The approach. You are walking through the mountains of Norway in the early evening of a winter's day. The world around you is entering that magical hour between daylight and darkness, the blue hour, they call it, when the sky deepens to a rich indigo and the snow-covered landscape seems to glow from within, luminous and dreamlike. Snow is falling. Soft, persistent, gentle. The flakes drift down in that hypnotic way that snow has, in no particular hurry, twirling and dancing on air currents you cannot see. They land on your shoulders, on your woolen hat, on the tips of your gloved fingers. Each flake so small, so delicate, yet together they are transforming the world into something hushed and holy. Your boots crunch in the snow beneath you. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It's a rhythm, a meditation. Each step presses down into the pristine white surface, maybe 6 inches deep, maybe 7. The snow compresses under your weight with that distinctive sound, not quite a squeak, not quite a whisper, but something in between. A sound you feel as much as hear. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The path winds upward through a forest of pine trees, their branches heavy with snow, bowed down under its weight like praying monks. The trees stand silent and watchful on either side of the narrow trail. Some of their branches reach out overhead, creating a natural archway, a tunnel of green-black pine and white snow. Occasionally, a small cascade of powder falls from a branch, disturbed perhaps by the wind, or by a bird you cannot see, and it glitters as it falls through the dimming light. The air is cold. Truly cold. You can feel it on your cheeks, the only part of your face exposed to the elements. It's the kind of cold that makes your skin tingle, that makes each breath sharp and clean in your lungs. When you exhale, your breath becomes visible, a small cloud of mist that hangs in the air for a moment before dissipating into the gathering dusk. Breathe in, the cold filling your lungs. Breathe out, watching the mist fade. Breathe in. Breathe out. But you are not uncomfortable. Your body is warm inside your layers, the thermal underwear against your skin, the wool sweater over that, the down jacket over that, wrapped in warmth like a gift. Your feet are snug in thick socks inside your boots. Your hands, deep in your pockets or your insulated gloves, are protected from the bite of winter. You have been walking for perhaps 20 minutes up this mountain path, and now, through the trees ahead, you see it. The cabin. First glimpse. It sits in a small clearing, a haven carved out of the wilderness. Even from this distance, even through the falling snow, you can see the warm glow of its wooden walls, the steep pitch of its roof designed to shed the heavy Norwegian snow. Smoke is rising from the chimney, or no, you notice as you draw closer, the chimney is cold and dark. You'll need to build a fire. But the image is so clear in your mind already. Soon there will be smoke rising, curling upward into the darkening sky. The cabin is not large. It doesn't need to be. It's just for you. A single-story structure of dark timber, the wood aged and weathered to a deep honey brown, almost gray in places where the elements have had their way with it for years, perhaps decades. The roof is covered in a thick blanket of snow, smooth and undisturbed, like frosting on a cake. Icicles hang from the eaves, catching the last of the light. There are 2 windows at the front of the cabin, small and square, like friendly eyes. They're dark now, but you can imagine them glowing warmly once you're inside, once you've brought light and life back to this sleeping place. As you approach, your footsteps slowing now, you notice the details. A small porch, just 3 or 4 feet deep, covered by the overhang of the roof. A wooden bench on the porch, its seat covered with a smooth layer of snow. A stack of firewood against the cabin wall, protected from the worst of the weather by the porch roof, each log crowned with its own small cap of white. The snow is still falling. Always falling. Soft. Persistent. Gentle. It's beginning to settle on your shoulders more thickly now, and you pause for just a moment at the bottom of the 3 steps that lead up to the cabin door. You turn and look back the way you came. Your footprints trail behind you, a dotted line through the snow, between the trees, already beginning to fill in with fresh snowfall. Beyond the clearing, the forest stretches out in all directions, quiet and vast. The mountains rise up in the distance, their peaks obscured by low clouds and falling snow. You are alone here. Completely alone. Beautifully alone. And it feels perfect. Entering the cabin. You turn back to the cabin. The 3 steps up to the porch creak slightly under your weight, a sound that seems loud in the hushed landscape, and then your boots are on the wooden planks of the porch itself. You stamp your feet, once, twice, dislodging the snow that's accumulated on your boots, watching it fall in clumps onto the porch floor. The cabin door is made of heavy wood, darkened with age and sealed against the weather. There's a simple iron handle, cold to the touch even through your gloves, and above it, a keyhole. You reach into your pocket and withdraw the key. It's an old-fashioned key, large and heavy, made of iron like the handle, the kind of key that belongs to a place like this. The metal is cold, so cold, even colder than the air, and you can feel its chill through your gloves. You guide the key toward the lock. It takes a moment to find the opening in the dim light, the snowflakes still falling around you, but then the key slides home with a satisfying sound. Metal on metal. A perfect fit. You turn the key. Slowly. The mechanism inside the lock is old, perhaps stiff from disuse and the cold, and it resists at first. You apply a little more pressure, steady and firm, and then, clunk. The lock turns over. The bolt slides back. The door is unlocked. You turn the iron handle. It moves with a low, grinding sound, and you push the door inward. It swings open with a long, slow creak, a sound that speaks of hinges that haven't been oiled in years, and then you are standing on the threshold, looking into the cabin's interior. The first thing that reaches you is the smell. Even before your eyes adjust to the darkness within, your nose registers it, the scent of wood. Cedar, pine, the deep, dry smell of timber that has stood for years. There's a mustiness too. The cabin has been closed up, but it's not unpleasant. It's the smell of a place that's been waiting. Waiting for someone to return. Waiting for life to enter again. You step inside, crossing the threshold, and even though the cabin is cold, almost as cold as outside, you'll discover there's an immediate sense of shelter. Of protection. The wind, which you hadn't consciously noticed outside, is suddenly absent. The snow is no longer falling on you. You are inside. You are safe. Behind you, you push the door closed. It swings shut with another long creak, and then the latch clicks into place, and the world outside is sealed away. The interior revealed. You stand for a moment in the darkness, letting your eyes adjust. Slowly, shapes begin to emerge from the gloom. There's a window to your left, and another straight ahead, and through them comes the faint blue light of the snowy twilight outside, just enough to see by. The cabin is a single room, open and simple. The ceiling is low, made of exposed wooden beams, dark with age. The walls are timber, the same honey-brown wood as the exterior, with the joints and seams visible, honest and unadorned. The floor beneath your feet is also wood, wide planks that creak slightly as you shift your weight. To your right, against the wall, is the fireplace. It's made of stone, dark gray stone gathered from these very mountains perhaps, stacked and mortared into a broad hearth with a wide opening. The firebox is dark and cold, filled with ash from some previous fire, perhaps from months ago, perhaps from years ago. Above the opening, a simple wooden mantel. And above that, the chimney disappearing up into the ceiling and out through the roof. To your left is a small kitchen area. A wooden counter, a basin for washing, some shelves holding a few simple dishes, cups, and bowls. An old iron kettle sits on the counter. A small table with 2 chairs tucked underneath. Everything is covered with a fine layer of dust that sparkles faintly in the dim light. Straight ahead, against the far wall, is a bed. It's a simple wooden frame with a thick mattress, and piled on top of the mattress are blankets, wool blankets, heavy and warm, and a quilt that even in this light you can tell is beautifully made, a patchwork of deep colors: burgundy, forest green, navy blue. And on the floor, between where you stand and the fireplace, is a rug. Even in the dimness, you can see it's woven wool, thick and densely made, with patterns in cream and brown and dark red. But it's cold. So cold. Your breath is still misting in front of you. Your fingers and toes, which were warm enough outside while you were moving, are beginning to protest now that you've stopped. You need light. You need warmth. You need a fire. Preparing the fire. You move through the cabin, still wearing your coat, and find what you're looking for on a shelf near the kitchen, a box of matches and an oil lantern. You take off your gloves, stuffing them in your pocket, and strike a match. The sound is sharp in the quiet, a scratch, a hiss, and then a tiny flame springs to life, warm and orange-yellow, pushing back the darkness. You light the lantern's wick, watching as it catches, as the flame grows steady and bright behind the glass. You replace the glass chimney and suddenly the cabin is transformed. Warm light spills out in a golden circle, illuminating the dust motes that hang in the air, thousands upon thousands of them, drifting lazily in currents you cannot feel, each one catching the light, dancing, swirling, like snow within the cabin itself. You set the lantern on the table, and now you can see properly. You can see the grain in the wooden walls, the texture of the wool blankets on the bed, the ash in the fireplace. And you can begin the work of bringing this place back to life. First, you shed some of your outer layers. The heavy coat comes off, and you drape it over one of the chairs. Your hat, dusted with melted snow, goes on the table. You're still wearing your sweater, and you'll keep that on for now, but already you can move more freely. You approach the fireplace and kneel down on the hearth. The stone is cold against your knees, even through your pants. You peer into the firebox. Yes, there's ash from the last fire, but underneath, the grate is clear enough. This will do. You'll need to bring in wood. You stand, pull your coat back on, just for a moment, and open the cabin door again. The cold rushes in, and the snow, still falling, seems brighter now in contrast to the warm lamplight behind you. You step out onto the porch and gather an armload of logs from the stack against the wall. They're cold and rough against your arms, and small bits of snow and bark fall from them as you lift them. Back inside, door closed again, you stack the logs carefully beside the fireplace. Then back outside, the cold, the snow, the quiet, for kindling this time. There's a smaller pile of it tucked under the larger logs, pieces of split wood, thin and dry. You gather a generous amount and bring it inside. Now you have what you need. You kneel again at the fireplace. There's newspaper in a basket beside the hearth, old and yellowed, and you crumple several sheets, placing them in the center of the firebox. The paper crinkles and whispers under your hands. Over this, you build a small structure of kindling, creating space for air to flow, for the fire to breathe when it comes to life. You strike another match. The flame dances at the end of the tiny stick, and you touch it to the edge of the newspaper. The paper catches immediately with a soft warmth, and flames begin to curl around the edges, blackening them, turning them to ash. The fire spreads quickly through the crumpled paper, and soon the kindling begins to catch, the small pieces of wood crackling as they heat, as they surrender to the flame. You watch, patient, as the fire establishes itself. Small flames at first, tentative, but growing stronger. You can feel the heat now, just a whisper of it on your face, and you lean in slightly, drawn to it the way all living things are drawn to warmth and light. When the kindling is burning well, you carefully add a larger piece of wood. Not too large, you don't want to smother the young fire, but substantial enough to keep it going. The log catches at the edges where it touches the burning kindling, and you add another piece, and then another, building the fire up slowly, giving it time to grow strong. The flames climb higher. Orange and yellow, with hints of blue at the base where they are hottest. The wood begins to crackle and pop, releasing the scents it has held inside. Pine, sweet and resinous, and something else, something clean and ancient. Smoke rises up through the chimney, drawn upward by the draft, and you can hear the wind outside catching it, pulling it up and away into the snowy sky. You sit back on your heels, watching the fire. Already the cabin is changing. The temperature is rising, degree by degree. The light from the flames adds to the lantern's glow, filling the cabin with a warm, living radiance. Shadows dance on the walls, on the ceiling beams, on the floor. You stand and remove your coat again, this time draping it over the back of the chair where it can dry if it needs to. Your boots come off next. You unlace them slowly, pull them off, set them by the door. Your feet, in their thick socks, feel immediately lighter, freer. You wiggle your toes, feeling the blood flow return fully. Settling in. The fire is established now, burning steadily, and the cabin is becoming warm. Not hot, not yet, but the edge is off the cold. You can feel it most in the air on your face, the way it's no longer sharp and biting but soft, gentle. You move to the kitchen area. The kettle is where you saw it, and you fill it with water from a jug that sits on the shelf. The water is cold, clean, brought from a spring perhaps. You carry the kettle to the fireplace, where a metal arm swings out from the side of the hearth. You hang the kettle from the hook at the end of the arm and swing it over the fire, positioning it where the flames can lick up around its base. While the water heats, you find tea in a small tin on the shelf. You lift the lid and breathe in the scent. Black tea, simple and strong, with a hint of bergamot. You place a spoonful of the dark leaves in a simple ceramic cup. The cabin is warm now. Truly warm. You can feel it sinking into your muscles, easing the tension you didn't know you were carrying. The fire crackles and pops, a conversation with itself, and outside the snow continues to fall, but you are here, inside, safe and warm. The kettle begins to murmur, a low sound that builds slowly, and then it's singing, a quiet whistle that tells you the water is ready. You use a cloth to protect your hand and lift the kettle from the hook, pouring the steaming water over the tea leaves in your cup. The water darkens immediately, swirling with color, and the scent rises with the steam, earthy, comforting, warm. You carry your cup to the wool rug in front of the fireplace. The rug is thick and soft under your feet, and you sink down onto it, cross-legged, facing the fire. The cup is warm in your hands, almost hot, and you wrap your fingers around it, feeling the heat seep into your palms. The fire burns before you, steady and strong. The flames dance and weave, never still, always moving, hypnotic in their endless transformation. The logs glow red and orange beneath the flames, and occasionally a log shifts, settling deeper into the fire, sending up a small shower of sparks that wink out before they reach the chimney. You lift the cup to your lips and take a sip. The tea is hot and strong and perfect, warming you from the inside out, spreading through your chest, down into your belly, flowing out into your limbs. Outside, the blizzard continues its gentle work, covering the world in white, but inside, you are warm. You are safe. You are home. The storm and the book. You sit with your tea, feeling its warmth spread through you, feeling the fire's heat on your face, on your hands, on your legs crossed beneath you. The cabin has become a world unto itself now, a small universe of warmth and light carved out of the vast, cold darkness outside. You take another sip of tea. The liquid flows over your tongue, slightly bitter, slightly sweet, grounding you in this moment, in this place. You are here. Fully here. There is nowhere else to be. Outside, you can hear the wind beginning to pick up. It was gentle before, a quiet presence in the background, but now it's finding its voice. You hear it moving through the pine trees, rustling their branches, shaking loose small avalanches of snow that fall with soft, muffled sounds to the ground below. You hear it testing the corners of the cabin, probing for weaknesses, singing in different pitches as it finds the edges of the roof, the window frames, the door. The storm is building. Not dangerously, you are safe here, completely safe, but building nonetheless into something fuller, more present, more alive. The blizzard is becoming a true blizzard, and instead of feeling concerned, you feel only a deeper sense of comfort. Because you are inside. Because you are warm. Because the storm only makes this sanctuary more precious. You finish your tea, tipping the cup back to catch the last warm drops, feeling them slide across your tongue. Then you set the empty cup aside on the hearth, where it makes a small sound, ceramic against stone, that seems to echo in the quiet cabin. Your eyes move to the far wall, where you noticed earlier a small bookshelf standing in the corner, near the bed. Even from here, you can see the spines of books lined up on its shelves, waiting. You rise from the rug, your muscles warm and loose now, and cross the wooden floor. Each step makes the boards creak softly beneath your weight, a friendly sound, the cabin speaking back to you. The bookshelf is simple, made of the same dark wood as everything else in the cabin, and it holds perhaps 20 or 30 books. You crouch down to examine them more closely. The titles are embossed in gold and silver on worn spines. Classics, some you recognize, some you don't. Books that have been read and loved, their pages soft with use. You run your finger along the spines, feeling the texture of old cloth and leather, and then one book seems to call to you. You're not sure why this one and not another. Perhaps it's the color of the binding, a deep forest green, or perhaps it's the way it sits slightly forward from the others, as if offering itself. You draw it out gently. The book is a novel, a story of some kind, though which story hardly matters. What matters is the weight of it in your hands, satisfying and real. What matters is the feel of the cover, slightly rough under your fingertips. What matters is the faint smell that rises from it when you open it to a random page. Old paper, dust, vanilla, time. You carry the book back to the fireplace, back to your spot on the wool rug. Before you sit, you add another log to the fire. It's burning well, but you want to keep it strong, want to ensure the warmth continues. The new log settles into place with a soft thud and a scatter of sparks, and already the flames are beginning to explore it, to find purchase on its rough bark. You settle back onto the rug, and this time you shift your position slightly. You lean back against the side of an old armchair that sits near the fireplace. You hadn't noticed it before, or perhaps you did but didn't register it fully. It's upholstered in worn fabric, something that might once have been burgundy but has faded to a softer rose. You pull one of the cushions from the chair and place it behind your lower back, and now you're perfectly supported, perfectly comfortable. The book rests on your lap. You open it to the first page, though you could start anywhere. This isn't about following a plot, about reaching an ending. This is about the act itself. The ritual. The piece of reading by firelight while a storm rages outside. The pages are slightly yellowed, the paper thick and textured. The print is clear and dark, easy to read in the dancing firelight. You begin. The rhythm of reading. The first words swim into focus. Your eyes move across them, left to right, taking in the sentences, the paragraphs. The story begins to unfold, something about a journey, about someone traveling to a distant place. The details don't quite matter. What matters is the flow of it, the rhythm of the language, the way your eyes move across the page in that ancient pattern. Back and forth, down the page, turn, begin again. Outside, the wind gusts against the cabin. You hear it clearly now, a long, low moan that rises and falls. The sound is not frightening. If anything, it's soothing, a kind of white noise, a reminder of the wild world beyond these walls and how separate you are from it, how protected. You read another page. The sentences flow into your mind like water, like honey. You can hear them in your head, spoken in a voice that might be your own or might be someone else's, reading to you, telling you this story. The fire crackles. A log shifts, settling. The flames leap higher for a moment, casting brighter light across the pages of your book, and then they settle again into their steady dance. You turn the page. The paper whispers as it moves, a sound so soft you almost don't hear it, and then you're reading again, your eyes following the lines, your mind following the story, but in a distant way, in a dreamy way, as if the story is happening somewhere far away and you're watching it through a veil. The wind picks up again. This time it brings snow with it, driving the flakes against the windows. You hear them, a sound like sand, like tiny fingers tapping at the glass. Tap, 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 tap. 1,000 flakes, 1,000,000, all seeking entrance, all turned away by the solid glass, by the walls, by the warmth inside that makes their cold world impossible here. You glance up from your book toward the nearest window. In the firelight, you can see the snow streaming past the glass, almost horizontal now, driven by the wind. It's hypnotic, the way the flakes move, all flowing in one direction, endless, relentless, beautiful. But you are here, and they are there, and the glass between makes all the difference. You return to your book. Another page. Another. The protagonist of the story is crossing a river now, or remembering crossing a river. The tense shifts and you're not quite sure, but it doesn't matter. What matters is the image. Cold water, stepping stones, the sound of current rushing past. The storm outside grows stronger still. The wind is constant now, no longer rising and falling but sustained, a steady force pressing against the cabin from all sides. You can hear it in the chimney, roaring up the flue, drawing the smoke upward with even more vigor than before. The fire responds, burning hotter, brighter, as if in conversation with the wind. You blow, and I will burn. You rage, and I will warm. The cabin itself makes sounds in response to the storm. Small sounds. Settling sounds. A beam creaking somewhere in the ceiling. The walls groaning gently under the pressure of the wind. But these sounds are not concerning. They're the sounds of a structure doing its job, standing firm, sheltering you from the elements. The cabin has stood through many storms, through decades of winters, and it will stand through this one too, with you safe inside it. Deeper into the evening. Time passes, though you're not sure how much. An hour? 2? It doesn't matter. You have nowhere to be. Nothing scheduled. No obligations. Time has become elastic, meaningless, a thing that flows around you without touching you. You've read many pages now. How many, you couldn't say. The story has taken you to different places, a city, a garden, a room filled with light, but always you return here, to this cabin, to this fire, to this moment. Your mind drifts between the two worlds, the world of the book and the world of the cabin, and both are equally real, equally dreamlike. Your eyes are growing heavy. Not tired, exactly, but soft, relaxed. The firelight makes them want to close, makes reading a gentle effort, a pleasant effort. You blink slowly, and when your eyes open again, the word swims slightly before coming back into focus. The teacup sits on the hearth where you left it, empty now but still holding the memory of warmth. Perhaps you'll make more tea later. Perhaps not. There's no hurry. No need to decide. Outside, the blizzard has reached its peak. The wind is a constant presence now, a voice that sings and roars and whispers all at once. You can hear variations in it. Sometimes it sounds like the ocean, waves crashing against a shore. Sometimes it sounds like a choir, voices rising and falling in harmony. Sometimes it sounds like breathing, deep and slow, the earth itself inhaling and exhaling. The snow is falling so thickly now that when you glance at the window, you can barely see anything beyond the glass. Just white. Just the endless dance of flakes illuminated faintly by the light from inside before they disappear into the darkness beyond. The world has been reduced to this. The cabin, the clearing immediately around it, and then nothing. Just snow and wind and night. But inside, everything is golden. Everything is warm. You read another page, but your attention to the words is fading. Instead, you're paying attention to other things. To the weight of the book in your hands. To the texture of the page under your thumb. To the way the firelight flickers across the paper, making the shadows of the words dance slightly, as if the letters themselves are alive. You're paying attention to your breathing. It has slowed, deepened, fallen into rhythm with the storm outside, with the crackling of the fire. In and out. In and out. Steady and calm and peaceful. You're paying attention to your body. It feels heavy now, relaxed, sinking into the rug, into the cushion behind your back. Your shoulders have dropped. Your jaw is loose. Your hands hold the book lightly, with no tension, just enough pressure to keep it open on your lap. The fire burns on. You added that last log some time ago. How long? 15 minutes? 30? And it's burning beautifully now, fully engulfed in flames, contributing its heat to the warmth of the cabin. The temperature has stabilized at something perfect, warm enough to be comfortable in just your sweater and socks, cool enough to appreciate the heat of the fire when you lean toward it. The storm's lullaby. Another gust of wind shakes the cabin. Not violently, never violently, but firmly, the way a parent might gently rock a cradle. The whole structure seems to sway slightly, though perhaps that's your imagination, and then it settles again, solid and strong. You love this. The contrast. The duality. The rage of the storm outside and the perfect peace inside. The bitter cold beyond the walls and the encompassing warmth within. The chaos of the blizzard and the order of this small, well-made space. It makes you appreciate both more fully. You couldn't enjoy the cabin's warmth quite so much without the cold to compare it to. You couldn't feel quite so safe without the wildness beyond the door. Your eyes drift closed for a moment. Just a moment. Just to rest them from reading. The book remains open on your lap, your hands still touching its pages, but your eyes are closed, and you're listening instead of reading. You're listening to the fire, the crackle and pop, the shifting of logs, the whisper of flames consuming wood, the rush of heat rising up the chimney. You're listening to the storm, the wind's many voices, the snow against the windows, the creaking of the cabin's timbers, the whole wild symphony of winter expressing itself in the darkness outside. You're listening to your own breathing, slow, deep, peaceful, barely audible even to yourself. You're listening to the silence underneath all of these sounds, the deep, profound silence that lives at the heart of this place, this moment, this experience. Your eyes open again, slowly, lazily. The fire is still there, still burning. The book is still on your lap. The storm is still raging outside. Nothing has changed, and yet everything feels different, softer, more distant, as if you're experiencing it all from very far away, or from very deep within yourself. You realize you've stopped reading. Your eyes are on the page, but you're not taking in the words anymore. They've become abstract patterns, shapes on paper, beautiful in their own right but no longer communicating meaning. And that's all right. That's perfect. The book has done its job. It has occupied your conscious mind, given it something to focus on, while the deeper parts of you relaxed, let go, drifted toward peace. You close the book gently, feeling the pages come together, hearing the soft sound they make. You set it aside on the rug next to you, treating it with care, with respect, thanking it silently for its companionship. Now there is nothing to do but sit. To be. To rest here in the warmth and the light while the storm does its work outside, transforming the landscape, covering everything in deeper and deeper snow. The fire has burned down slightly, not low, but lower than it was. The flames are still strong, but the logs have been consumed partway, glowing from within with that deep red-orange light that speaks of intense heat. You could add another log. You will, in a moment. But for now, you simply watch, simply appreciate the beauty of this fire you built with your own hands, this warmth you created in the cold. The deepening night and gentle sleep. The fire has settled into its deepest glow now, the flames mostly gone, replaced by a bed of coals that pulse with warmth, breathing red and orange, inhaling and exhaling light. The heat continues to radiate outward, filling every corner of the cabin, wrapping around you like the softest embrace. You remain perfectly still on the wool rug, your body so relaxed now that you've almost forgotten where you end and the warmth begins. There is no separation anymore between you and this place, between you and this moment. You have become part of the cabin, part of the fire's glow, part of the storm song outside. Your breathing has become so slow, so gentle, that you barely notice it anymore. It happens on its own, without thought, without effort. In, a slow, soft filling of the lungs with warm air that smells of smoke and wood and peace. Out, an even slower release, letting go of everything, surrendering completely to this moment. The storm outside continues its work, patient and persistent. The wind has found a rhythm now, a pattern you've grown so accustomed to that it's become like silence, like the background hum of the universe itself. Sometimes it rises slightly, pressing against the windows with a gentle insistence. Sometimes it falls to a whisper, barely audible, a soft breath across the roof. But always it continues, constant as a heartbeat, steady as the stars turning overhead beyond the clouds. The snow is still falling. You can sense it more than hear it now, a knowing that exists beyond sound. Out there in the darkness, flakes are drifting down, spiraling and dancing on currents of wind, settling onto the already thick blanket that covers the world. By morning, the landscape will be transformed, sculpted into something new by the night's patient work. But morning is far away. Morning is another world, another time. Now there is only this, the glow, the warmth, the deep settling into rest. The body's complete surrender. Every part of your body has let go now. Your muscles have released their grip, have abandoned their usual vigilance, have melted into the most profound relaxation. If someone were to lift your hand, it would be heavy, limp, completely relaxed, not lifeless, but deeply, thoroughly at rest. Your shoulders have dropped so far they seem to have disappeared, melted down into your torso. Your neck is soft, your head heavy against whatever it rests upon. The weight of your skull, which you never normally notice, is palpable now, pressing down gently, fully supported, requiring no effort to hold upright. Your spine has released each vertebra, one by one, letting them settle like stones stacked by a patient hand. From the base of your skull down through your neck, through your shoulders, down your back, all the way to your tailbone, each bone rests on the one below it, perfectly aligned, perfectly relaxed, held together by nothing but gravity and the soft support beneath you. Your chest rises and falls with your breathing, but the movement is so slight now, so minimal, barely a whisper of motion. Your ribs expand gently with each inhale, contract softly with each exhale, and between breaths there are moments of perfect stillness, moments when even breathing seems to pause, to wait, to rest. Your arms lie wherever they've come to rest. You couldn't say exactly where anymore without looking, without thinking about it. They simply are, heavy and warm, fingers loosely curled, palms open, holding nothing, needing nothing, wanting nothing. Your legs have forgotten their usual work of carrying you, supporting you, moving you through the world. They rest now, completely at ease, muscles soft as butter, joints loose, all tension drained away like water flowing downhill until nothing remains but the pleasant heaviness of deep relaxation. Your feet, wrapped in their wool socks, are warm and heavy, each toe relaxed, the arches of your feet soft, the heels resting against the floor or the rug with all their weight, no holding back, no tension anywhere. The mind grows still. Your mind, that usually busy thing, has quieted to almost nothing. The thoughts that stream through during the day, the endless parade of memories and plans, worries and wonderings, the constant commentary on everything, have thinned to wisps, to shadows, to almost nothing at all. Occasionally something drifts through. A vague awareness of the fire's glow. A distant noting of the wind's song. A fleeting image of snow falling in darkness. But these aren't really thoughts, they're more like sensations, like distant music heard through water, barely noticed, immediately released. You're not thinking about tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist here. There is no tomorrow in this moment, in this warmth, in this deep settling towards sleep. There is only now, and now is perfect, complete, needing nothing added, nothing taken away. You're not thinking about yesterday, about the walk through the snow, about arriving at the cabin, about building the fire. Those things happened in another time, to another version of you, in a world that seems very far away now. They're like stories you once heard, dimly remembered, soft around the edges, dissolving even as you try to recall them. You're not thinking about anything at all, really. You're simply being. Simply resting here in the warm amber glow of the dying fire while the storm wraps the world outside in whitened silence. Your awareness has narrowed to the simplest things. The warmth against your skin. The softness beneath you. The gentle rhythm of your breathing, so slow now, so peaceful, barely there at all. In and out. In and out. Each breath a tiny wave lapping at the shore, gentle and regular and endless. The fire's final gift. The coals in the fireplace glow their deepest red now, like the heart of the earth itself visible through a crack in the world. They pulse gently with their inner heat, bright and dim, breathing their light into the cabin with the steady rhythm of something ancient and wise. The warmth they give is the best kind, not the fierce heat of flames, but the deep, penetrating warmth of coals that have burned down to their essence. This warmth doesn't just heat the air, it soaks into everything. Into the wooden walls, which absorb it and hold it and radiate it back. Into the floor beneath you, warming it through. Into your body, penetrating deep into your muscles, your bones, your very core, warming you from the inside out. You can feel this warmth settling into you, becoming part of you. It flows through your arms and legs like honey, slow and sweet and heavy. It pools in your chest, in your belly, spreading outward in gentle waves. It rises up through your neck into your head, filling your skull with a pleasant, drowsy warmth that makes thinking impossible, unnecessary, undesirable. The glow from the coals paints everything in shades of amber and copper and gold. The shadows have grown long and soft, blending into darkness in the corners of the cabin. The boundary between light and dark has become blurred, indistinct, and you exist somewhere in between, in a twilight place that is neither fully lit nor fully dark, but something in between, something perfect for rest, for sleep, for letting go. Outside, the storm continues, but it seems even more distant now, as if it's happening in another world entirely, separated from you by more than just walls and windows. The wind's voice has become part of the silence, the snow's fall has become part of the stillness. The storm isn't something separate from peace anymore, it has become peace itself, the sound of the world settling into its own deep rest. The crossing over. Your eyelids are so heavy now. They've been closed for so long, minutes? Hours? That you've forgotten the feeling of them being open. Behind them, in the darkness, occasional flickers of color drift by, deep reds and oranges reflecting the fire's glow even through closed lids, or perhaps just a random firing of neurons as your brain settles toward sleep. You watch these colors without interest, without attachment, letting them drift by like clouds across a sunset sky. Your hearing has grown soft, muffled, as if someone has wrapped your head in cotton. The crackle of the coals, still faintly audible, seems to come from very far away. The wind outside, once so present, has faded to barely a whisper, to less than a whisper, to something you sense more than hear. Even your own breathing is almost inaudible now, just the softest whisper of air moving in and out, slower and slower, deeper and deeper. You're floating now, or sinking, you're not sure which, and it doesn't matter. You're suspended in warmth and darkness and perfect safety, held in place by nothing but the cabin's embrace, by the fire's dying glow, by the storm's lullaby outside. You're not quite awake anymore, but not quite asleep either. You're in that liminal space between, that threshold place where the boundaries dissolve, where waking dreams and sleeping reality blend into one. Images drift through your mind, soft and hazy and disconnected. Snow falling in darkness. A path winding between trees. Firelight dancing on wooden walls. A cup of tea, steam rising. A book with pages turning. But these images have no weight, no importance. They are like reflections in water, beautiful and insubstantial, dissolving even as they appear. Your body has become so heavy now that you feel yourself sinking down through the rug, through the floor, down into some deep, soft place beneath the cabin, beneath the earth, down into warmth and darkness and complete letting go. Or perhaps you're rising, floating up toward the ceiling, up through the roof, up into the snowy sky. You can't tell anymore. Direction has lost meaning. Up and down, heavy and light, asleep and awake. All the boundaries have blurred and blended until there's only this: peace, rest, safety, home. The final settling. The coals pulse once more, twice, their glow dimming now, fading from bright orange to deep red to something almost purple, the color of the sky just before night becomes complete. The warmth remains, it will remain for hours yet, long after the last coal has cooled. But the light is fading, inviting you to let go of even this last small anchor to wakefulness. Your breathing is so slow now, so soft, so gentle. In, a whisper of air. Out, an even softer release. In, barely perceptible. Out, almost nothing at all. The pauses between breaths grow longer, deeper, more peaceful. Your body knows what to do. It's done this every night of your life, this surrender to sleep, this letting go, this crossing over into the country of dreams. Outside, the storm continues its patient work, covering the world, transforming everything, making it new. The wind blows soft and constant. The snow falls endless and gentle. The night deepens around the cabin, wrapping it in darkness and peace. But inside, all is warmth. All is safety. All is rest. The last glow of the coals fades to almost nothing, just the faintest ember, a memory of light, a whisper of warmth. And in this soft darkness, this gentle quiet, this perfect peace, you finally let go completely. Your last thought, if it can even be called a thought, is simply gratitude. Gratitude for this cabin, this fire, this storm, this moment. Gratitude for warmth and safety and rest. Gratitude for the soft rug beneath you, the cushion supporting you, the walls sheltering you. Gratitude for this peace, this deep and perfect peace. And then even gratitude dissolves, and there is only sleep. Deep, restful, healing sleep. The sleep of someone safe and warm in a cabin in the mountains while a storm transforms the world outside. The sleep of coming home. The fire's last coal glows once more, so faint now, just a whisper of red in the darkness, and then it too lets go, releasing its final breath of warmth into the cabin, its final gift of light into the night. And all is darkness, and all is warmth, and all is peace, and all is sleep. Deep, soft, gentle, sleep. Rest now. Rest completely. You are safe here. You are home. Sleep.